The fight for compensation in Detroit after thousands lost their homes due to an erroneous tax bill. The city has acknowledged the mistake, but says it can't pay them back. ABC's Trevor Ault traveled there and files this report.
How does it feel to be back in the neighborhood?
It's a little unsettling. There's trauma here for me.
It was here, just a few blocks south of 8 Mile in northeastern Detroit, that Sonia Bonnet and her family spent years building their lives.
I can look at my old house and, see my kids running around the yard.
It wasn't perfect, but it was home. It's not anymore.
Now I look at it and it holds nothing for me.
Sonia and her family entered a contract here in 2011, making monthly payments to eventually become owners. Those payments were supposed to cover property tax, but city records show multiple years of unpaid property taxes.
One day I get a letter in the mail that says there's a $5,000 tax debt.
The owners then quickly transferred ownership to Sonia, meaning all those unpaid taxes fell to her family. City records show the unpaid 2012 and 2013 taxes owed on Sonia's home added up to just under $5,000. But a major 2020 investigation by the Detroit News estimated residents like Sonia were overtaxed by $600 million from 2010 through 2016. Based on their estimates, Sonia's former home was overtaxed by more than $1,500 in 2012 and 2013. And Sonia and her husband could never afford to pay those taxes back. And in 2017, the couple and their 7 children were forced out.
Do you think if it had been properly valued, you would have been able to afford to stay in your home?
I think that if it had been properly valued, I'd have definitely been able to stay in the home, because that tax bill that came wouldn't have been $5,000. It'd have either been something affordable, something I could have borrowed, something I could have negotiated, something feasible.
From 2011 to 2015, a staggering 1 in 4 Detroit homes like Sonia's went into foreclosure because of failure to pay property taxes. But what the city now freely admits is that many of those homes were illegally overvalued by the city.
2010, 2011, 2012, possibly 13 were overvalued.
Alvin Horn is the deputy CFO and assessor for the city of Detroit. He showed us the assessed value of Sonia's home in 2011 was $22,838. When that property was reassessed in 2017, it fell to just $10,400, less than half of what it was before. But Sonia had already lost the house.
There is no question the city lost control of its assessment roll.
The assessment process wasn't keeping up with market downfall, so as prices fell, the assessments did not. Horn says at the time, the city didn't have the resources for a much-needed citywide reappraisal, and the problem spiraled out of control, especially as the city filed for bankruptcy in 2013 with $18 billion in debt.
The city was having trouble keeping public safety officers on the streets and first responders, so there was no $10, $12, $15 million to give to the assessor to do a reappraisal of the city.
In 2014, Detroit began a state-mandated parcel-by-parcel reappraisal of its homes, which it completed by 2017. Horn says the city has placed a new focus on transparency and trust. He encourages every resident to file an appeal of their assessment so they can get it right.
There's 400,000 properties in the city of Detroit, over 200,000 houses. I would never tell anyone that every single one of them is valued correctly, but that's why we have a review.
Michigan state constitution says a property cannot be assessed at more than 50% of its market value. Dr. Bernadetta Tuahene says her research found from 2009 to 2015, 53 to 84% of Detroit homes were assessed in violation of that rule.
We find that the burden of these illegally inflated property taxes is being borne on the most vulnerable homeowners, the ones in the lowest valued homes.
And she and some other housing advocates say the problem still isn't fixed. A 2020 University of Chicago study found while fewer Detroit homes were being assessed in violation of the Constitution, the city's lower valued homes were still being overassessed. But the city tells us that's not happening.
Some people say that overassessments are still happening. Are they wrong?
Yes, there are no systemic overassessments in this city. If I were to tell you that 95% of the assessment roll is correct, that's still 5% of, that's still 20,000 parcels. That could possibly be overvalued.
Overassessed property taxes are not unique to Detroit. Studies have found property tax rates are 10 to 13% higher for Black and Hispanic residents nationally. In recent years, investigative reports have uncovered disproportionate assessments in Cook County, Illinois, and in Philadelphia as well.
Detroit is just ground zero for a national problem. We see these inflated property taxes. It's a national racial justice issue that our country has yet to come to tackle with.
And while Detroit acknowledges the overassessment problems from years past, acknowledgement doesn't make those aggrieved homeowners whole. From their perspective, the city stole from them, and they need more than an apology. They want their money back. But the city says it's not quite that simple.
The city does not have the money to hand people cash. It's against state law, and the city's not going to do anything that could bring the FRC back in control of city finances.
In 2020, the city proposed a plan offering benefits for homeowners affected between 2010 and 2013, including discounts for properties owned by the Detroit Land Bank Authority and priority access to affordable housing and city jobs. But the plan was voted down by Detroit's City Council, with critics saying it didn't go far enough. Residents like Sonia say if the city admits it was wrong, they have an obligation to make it right.
I want the world to take a look at what's going on here. When you talk to Detroiters who went through this, we want our money back. Because even when you think, okay, I'll accept the thing that they're offering, it's still that thing in you that's like, they stole from me. Why am I just accepting whatever they can give me?
Trevor Ault, thank you for that.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.